I go out to the seaside, I'm talking about an area called Bull Island on a place called Dollymount Strand. It feels like you're walking into the past when you're down there. It's just a place where you have space, where you can clear your head. It feels like it hasn't been touched in 100 years. So you can very easily kind of close your eyes and think back to Dublin 100 years ago.
Temple Bar is boring.
It was the beginnings of what I thought was a genuine cultural quarter in Dublin. And what we have today is an area masquerading as a cultural quarter. But Temple Bar, for me, represents quite a disgusting kind of distortion of contemporary Irishness.
You know, you walk down there from 7 p.m. till 4 a.m. 4 nights a week, and 80% of the people on the street are pissed.
There's a version of our kind of national identity and a version of our culture that I find wholly distasteful.
I live in a part of Dublin where you have to commute through Dublin 1. Like anywhere, you know, there's rough areas and not so rough areas. This isn't to say Dublin 1 is a terrible area whatsoever.
When I go up to areas of like the North Inner City, you know, I do feel like I'm not on my terrain. Because of what you hear, I'd be nervous about going to certain areas, but I'm probably wrong. It's a prejudice.
There are areas where I don't really like walking through because you don't necessarily feel safe. That worries me about my own city. I don't want to feel that about my own city. Yet, they are some of the most terrific people I've ever met. And that's what I would normally class as the people from that area.
I'm very fond of Trinity College. I spent some wonderful years there as a student. I've been lucky enough to teach there as well. That, for me, is an important place.
Just going into Trinity College in general, I loved being there, so probably that'll be my favourite place. It's a bit of a pretentious answer, but...
If I really want to go and switch off, I'll go into Trinity College and put headphones in and, you know, sit and, at the cricket field and read for a while, assuming the weather is mild enough to allow that.
But the inside of Trinity is like going into it's like travelling back 300 years, and it's really quiet, and there's a lovely cycle over the cobblestones down by the cricket green, and it's, yeah, that would probably be my favourite place.
So I do tend to kind of gravitate towards St. Stephen's Green.
I love the greenery.
Probably my favourite space in Dublin is Phoenix Park. There's nothing quite like it in any other city that I've ever visited. And I think it is one of the biggest kind of green spaces in Europe. And I love just going and getting lost in Phoenix Park.
I love the Georgian squares, I love the parks. I like this sense of space.
Beautiful green space, really unusual green space, you know, locked into an urban area.
O'Connell Street has improved a lot in the last 20 years. I don't know if you've been reading about this, but in terms of its layout. So O'Connell Street by the 80s and early 90s had become a very grubby, lots of plastic shop fronts, and it had become very run down. So in its visual appearance has improved a lot. If I go back 20 years, I mean, the most obvious thing is there was only Irish people living here.
Well, demographically it's changed a lot, but physically Dublin doesn't change that much. I guess that's one of the upsides of a slow-moving planning process.